Order. Junior, would you do our invocation?
Lord, thank you for bringing us all together under this roof here. Lord, the Cherokee Nation is strong. Help us make the right decisions, keep us stronger, protect us on our way home. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Shelley. Yes, ma'am. Roll call, please.
Chase Taylor.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Bill Evans.
Honey.
Harley Buzzer.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Mike Dobbins. Frankie Martins. Present. Wanda Hatfield.
Honey.
Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Honey.
Theo Smith.
Here.
Victoria Buswell. Honey. David Walkenstick.
Honey.
Ronnie
Honey.
Martin.
All right, very good. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from June 28th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Sean Slayton was with us last night, so he's not going to be here to report today. However, Jamie Cole, are you reporting for Lacey today? Yes, ma'am. Oh. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, very good. Okay, Jamie, now you can come up.
Good afternoon, Council. As you may know, we're on a generally 40 to 45 day monthly closeout schedule for our financials. We closed the month of May last Friday. I'd like to thank Connie Chandler for working this weekend, producing this report that we was able to provide prior to today's meeting. Also, like to remind you that any list of proposed donations of surplus items to organizations, if you could submit those lists through Gail back to us by July 27th, we'll try to incorporate those resolutions into the August ENF meeting. Thank you very much. We'll be happy to try to answer any questions you have or take back and get answers.
You may have any questions for the Treasurer's Office. Okay, very good. Thank you for being here, Jamie. Okay, is somebody here from Career Services?
Doctor is on her way, but
Okay.
awesome. She may be walking.
Did you
through
say
that door just
Diane's
in a
on her
minute.
way?
Well, she may be walking in just in a
Okay.
moment, but you do have her report.
Does anybody have any questions regarding the report? Okay, not. Deborah, I'd like for you to stay around. I have some questions on the tarot certifications, and I know you work
Absolutely.
pretty closely with those, so if you could stick around till
Yes,
we get
ma'am.
to that, that'd be awesome. So is anybody here from Commerce? Also heard from them yesterday, so we will move on down to the consent items. Diane, do you have anything you want to share with us? We're moving right along here. Is there anything in particular came up overnight?
I would prefer not to. I feel like you guys saw me too much last month.
Okay. Very well, we'll move on. Deborah, tarot is the first item on our consent. And I do have some questions. So if we could get a motion and a second on those so we can open discussion.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. And the questions that I have are on some actual recertifications. And there are several on here that will say so-and-so and so-and-so 100%. And so my question is, that would be 100% ownership of the company, but are they both Cherokee? Like if it's a husband and wife,
That would be based on a case-by-case situation. So later on, you would like to get me the name of the specific company that you would like for me to address, I can do that.
okay.
Does Tammy have 100% on there?
Excuse me?
Is the report reflected as 100%?
Well, okay, like for instance, this is a recertification, and it says Pamela Labert and Brad Labert, 80% Cherokee. So that is 80% of ownership of the company. Our husband or are both people Cherokee? That's my question.
One of them owns 80% of the company, and it's Cherokee. The other one is probably a non-Cherokee, and it's 20% of the company.
You've got Pamela Labert and Brad Labert, 80% Cherokee. That's one line.
I don't have the report in front of me, so I can't tell you, but I know that she puts the percentages on there, on the research as well. The only thing that she goes through are the ones that are the new ones,
Okay.
and Tammy does the research.
Okay. So, page 9 is one of them, but there are several this month where it's, well, I thought I had them marked. Page 9 has one. Page 7 has 2. Page 7 has 4, actually.
To look that up, you'd have to go to the file.
Okay, let's go to the one that you're talking about, the Cherokee Enterprises, 4 years. That means that they are in partners with these other people, which is probably some of their family members, and the other family members are probably non-Cherokee, and they have 80% of the company, and they're the ones that are the Cherokee, and the non-Indian is 20%.
So are both of them Cherokee?
The man and the woman have 80% of the company, and it's a Cherokee company.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that the man and the woman are both Cherokee.
No.
One of them,
We'd have to verify by looking at the application, but I would imagine when they did their articles of incorporation, it was set up 80-20%. The Cherokee, whenever they came through certification 4 years ago, it showed that that person had the majority of the ownership in the business.
so that those people, two
Yeah.
people. But it doesn't necessarily speak to, and like on Adair Steel, it's got Bill and Judy Henson, 100% Cherokee. So one of them is Cherokee, and together they own 100% of the company?
Which page?
Page 7.
Oh, that's on 7.
It's husband and wife, 100%.
Ownership,
Yes.
okay.
And to answer, if I may.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been advised when we're reviewing the applications and the certifications that if it's a husband and wife, then we look at it, they have equal liability under the law. They're both equal liable, and that's why it's reflecting 100% if they're in that case.
Okay. So, not necessarily are both of them Cherokee. One of them is Cherokee, but they equally own either the business or that share of the business.
Yes.
We would have to look at it case by case.
I'll give you an example. We had a lady that was working here at the Cherokee Nation at one time. Her husband was in construction. He was non-Cherokee. She was Cherokee. She quit her job to go work in the company on a full-time basis. She ended up being the timekeeper, the bookkeeper, and she was the one that did the hiring and the firing.
Right.
And he actually went out and did the labor work.
Okay.
But she actually was the owner, but it was a partnership with her and her husband.
Okay.
And it was reflected on their taxes.
Okay, I'm satisfied. Does anybody else have any questions regarding Terra certification? Am I the only nerd? Okay, all those in favor of approving this list? Any opposition? Okay, very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Community assistance, you got a new sheet handed out today. Look over that because it's a long time before we meet again.
Yes, as community assistant, you only have 2 E&F meetings left, so the council members, you need to look at the funds that you have left and utilize and spend the monies that you have in your account.
When did we turn it in by the September meeting?
Yes.
Did those funds roll over?
No.
No.
Jody's pretty tough on that one.
Cut off.
Community assistance doesn't roll over.
No. Go ahead, Councilor Vasquez.
Spend it or lose it.
I have a question on that new one that's on there for me, that's Neighbors Helping Neighbors.
Yes,
It's supposed to be 500 and not 1,000.
okay.
And I think I confused Gail because I had 2 all of a sudden today, 2 new ones, and one was 1,000, and it's okay, it's down there, Grand Nation.
Anything else? Go ahead, Counselor Crittenden.
So Jody, this number today, would you say there's none pending our balance? So there's none pending?
Correct. I mean, some of these have not, I mean, all the highlighted ones have not been paid, but these are the ones that's just been added since the last meeting, so.
Thank you.
Okay, if everybody's satisfied, I'd entertain a motion to get those approved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for community assistance. All those in favor?
I'm
I'm sorry, go ahead, Counselor Dobbins.
Is this the point where we need to add some? Or-
Yes.
Yeah. Jody,
Yes, sir.
Three Rivers Health Center, powwow, $2,000. Three Rivers Health Center,
How much was the amount?
2,000.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now all those,
I just say, Jody, we have Orchard Road Community Outreach on mine twice, and it just needs to be one time.
Okay.
This community assistance we're doing now,
Yeah.
Yes.
Jody, could I put 1,500 on VCO, Victor Cherokee Indian Immigration?
Okay.
I want to do 3,000 to Concord Riding Club.
okay, is everybody good? Keep in mind your next opportunity is going to be the end of August. Do you need?
No, I just, me? That was good.
Okay,
I think I've
go
got
ahead,
one more
Counselor
thing.
Vasquez.
Jody, on mine, up there at Bonita Public Schools, 7-9 is the date. And I have 500 down. Let's raise that to 1,000.
Okay.
Yep.
And what was the name of it again?
Holding distribution, July 25th.
Holding distribution, July 25th, we can serve hot dogs. Like, are we gonna do it?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, if everybody's satisfied, let's go. All those in favor?
Wait a minute, one more.
Wait.
Go ahead.
I think that's two different groups. And we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Jody, just do a repeat on those Indian churches. You know, I've already got them, just go another round. That way I'll have one more month to.
And is that split 3 ways or just you? Okay.
I'll hit them next month.
You go hit me, I'm broke. What church is it?
Oh, these are all my district. I got them covered.
Yeah, but I
You cover your district, I'll cover my district.
just remember that.
Okay.
I like to,
Hang on just a second, Stu.
All right. I'm good.
2,500.
How much?
25.
You guys are reaching over.
Okay.
I want to do the same with the Indian churches as well.
Okay.
We ready to vote, Buell?
Broke.
So all those in favor of accepting this report? Any opposition? Okay. Law enforcement would have been in your book. Entertain a motion on that.
Motion to approve. Second.
Have a motion and a second for the law enforcement. All those in favor? Any opposition? There were a few additions on the roads. You got the new sheet was handed out today. Someone would make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the roads. All those in favor? Any opposition? Sports teams applications were in your book.
Any changes there, Jody? You good?
Good.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Sports teams, all those in favor? Any opposition? Livestock, same thing. They were in the book.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second for livestock. All those in favor? Any opposition? There is no old business. That brings us down to new business. Frankie, you want to take the first one?
This is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Warehouse to donate surplus office equipment to Cherokee Water District in Adair County, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the first item of business. All those in favor? Any opposition? Councilor Austin, would you take the first budget mod?
Certainly. This is an act amending Legislative Act 25-17, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 6, and declaring an emergency, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Madam
Any
Chairman,
opposition? Oh, I'm sorry.
I had some comments on that.
Okay.
If I could. And I think this is the budget that I'm talking about, but is this the one, Jody, that's got the 22,688?
Yes.
22,688 that is coming out of the, let me get this straight, Salina Health Center budget that was meant to be used for Salina dental construction years ago. It's now going to be sent over to the, I believe, the Wilma P budget,
It's just the general health,
general health budget.
yeah, for maintenance and improvements.
And I think that that's the ultimate destination probably, is what I've been told. But anyway, what I'd like to do is make a motion to bring that out of that one budget that it's in, send it to the Salina maintenance budget, keep it in Salina, where it supposed has been for years and probably should be, and we'll find some more money for the other needs at some other point. And so I'd like to put that in form of a motion to change that the way it's written down there.
Second motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to, be to not accept the budget mod, or is it to just move the money?
Just amending.
That's the only thing on there, I think. So to amend that budget mod
I
is
think
what we
so.
would be doing.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. Thank you.
so all those in favor of amending it? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Dick and I talked about this yesterday. And the Wilma P. Man Killer Clinic is very important to Frankie and I and a lot of Cherokees in our district. And I hope they're all aware that Frankie and I do all we can do for the betterment of that clinic. And I agree with Dick. There's money out there. I don't think it's very neighborly to go over there and take Salina's what, they may need that. First priority for me is Adair County, of course. And if I didn't believe that there was money that we could find without taking from our neighbor, we might have a square off place. But I do believe there's money, and I don't feel real good about taking it from Salina at this point. So anyway, I was gonna just try to make myself clear on that, and I see what Dick's saying there. So
Well said.
Madam Chair. Secretary, do we have another option for that instead of taking from one district and moving it to the other? other than what we're proposing here?
Can I,
Yes.
this is, one reason why it's being moved is a capital budget. The construction's complete. This is a remaining balance that's sitting in a capital budget that can't be spent on general operations or anything. So it, one way or the other, it has to be transferred out of this line of budget, whether it gets transferred to a line of operating budget or some, it has to be transferred out of this budget the way it is right now, because it can't be spent. There's no budget to spend it currently, and that's the reason why it's being transferred out. It's just a balance setting out there that's, that can't be used right now the way it is. So
then we will replenish that.
I mean, Mr. Speaker, clearly the administration knows that the Wilma P issue is something that is a current need, and so that's the reason for
That's a good explanation.
Thank you. But back to the Salina, we will put that back in when.
well, I mean, there's no, I mean, it's in a capital budget. There's no need for it anymore. I mean, the construction was finished, so this is the balance that's been sitting there for 4 or 5 years that has no way of being spent because there's no budget, capital budget for it.
And
So,
Mr. Speaker, the record of the last 6+ years has been every penny of capital that is needed for the clinic construction has been there and proposed by the administration. So I think the track record can speak for itself.
It needs to be transferred out to an operating budget wherever it's decided to transfer it to. But that's the problem with it where it is setting right now. It can't be spent as a capital budget. That $22,000. So.
Okay, so Counselor Lay, do you want to leave your amendment as it is, which if I understood was taking it out of a capital budget, putting it into a maintenance budget for that clinic?
Putting it back into Salina's operating budget or maintenance budget, whichever it's called.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to leave your motion as it was?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's take a vote.
Well, let me make one little. One thing, I mean, it may be simple just to leave it the way it is. If administration will give assurances that it'll be spent at Salina, if that's your intent, because the budget that it's going to is a general health maintenance and improvement budget.
So,
Or we could move it to the Salina actual operating budget, but that's not normal procedure to have a maintenance improvement in the actual operating budget.
Yeah, when we reviewed the financials for that particular capital project fund, Salina Dental Construction, I believe, was around 2010 when that began, and it was completed in 2012. So we've had this balance hanging out there for about 6 years now. It's kind of just a cleanup budget to remove it from the capital projects fund, put it into an operating budget. If memory serves correctly, we put forth several budget mods last month for the operations of the clinics. Both Stillwell, I believe, received an operating budget mod as well as Salina. So probably felt like those probably met the needs at that time. And this was Health's desire to move this balance, relatively small balance, when you look at the capital projects fund to be funded in there. The project needs to be at least $500,000 anyway. So the residual of that I think millions of dollar project, we have $22,000 remaining since 2012. Health's desire was to put it into the project that they know that's coming up, which is Stillwell. And this appropriation will affect a transfer from the capital budget to the operating budget, and the operating budget's appropriations cease at September 30th anyway. So
this is up to Dick. And do you have more discussion?
I'm just going to ask. So we're not actually taking from Salina money that they could use in the future?
It would have to be moved to it. Right now, the way there's no budget to spend that $22,000 currently. It's left over from an old budget that's not being reappropriated. So right now, for the last 5 or 6 years, it's sitting there in an unspendable state because there's no budget to spend it.
The purpose of that budget originally back in 2010 was to construct the dental wing of Salina, and that was constructed again several years ago, and the project was completed.
This is just leftover funds. It's been sitting there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, and Madam Chair, if I may, I understand what you're saying. And I understand that that money was, to me, it's Salina's money. And no debate can change my mind on that. And you're looking at it from a ledger point of view. And I live with an accountant, so I appreciate that. But this money is Salina's money, and it should stick with Salina in the operating budget or as a carryover budget or whatever budget you guys can tell me we could stick it in to preserve that for Salina, because I believe it's Salina's money. And I don't know that there's anybody in the room would say, no, that's not their money, it's the treasurer's money, it's the chief's money. It's not, it's Salina Clinic's money, bottom line. And so that's what I want to do with it, Madam Chair, and I'm going to stick to that. And we'll vote it, and, you know, we'll see what happens.
What we'd probably suggest is if that's the case, is just put it in their supply budget. And of course, if they don't spend it between now and September 30, it'll roll into the general health carryover fund, so.
And when you say they don't have an operating budget, I understand that.
You know, this 22,000 is currently in the capital budget.
I
It's
understand
being
that,
transferred
but
to the.
You just got through saying, and they don't have an operating budget at this time.
I don't remember saying that. We put forward budget mods last month, I believe, that added several dollars to the operating budgets of the clinics, including Stillwell, I believe, and Salina.
Yep. And so why don't we just add this to that same fund for Salina?
Certainly could.
Whichever fund that was named. What was it, Jody? And I'll change my motion. Operation.
Yeah, I mean, just add it to their operating, yeah.
Well, I've already done that.
Yeah.
That's what you were, okay.
So we've gone around the horn
Yeah.
twice now, so I'm gonna stick with what we started with.
Right.
And thank you.
Councilor Crittenden.
So this 22,000, regardless of the way this vote goes, it's not gonna hold up construction on our good Wilma P. Mankiller clinic, right? So
that's a small amount compared to the whole thing, so yes.
So me seeing what my good neighbors are saying, you know, that won't affect my folks getting their clinic any faster, or, right?
I would not see that being that's a minor amount in the whole scheme of things, so I wouldn't see the impact.
Mr. Austin had a comment?
What was the original source of these funds?
So if memory served me correctly, we did a bond issuance years ago that helped construct Muskogee, Nowata, and maybe Salisaw. So this would likely have been health carryover funds at that time. I can certainly go back and get you a verification of where these funds originated from.
Well, I just wondered if they didn't originate out of the specific communities. They originated out of a central budget to put the money where it was needed for the where the facility need was.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go with this amendment to this budget mod to take it out of the Salina's capital budget, put it in their operating budget. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Abstain.
And 2 abstentions, Hatfield and Dobbins.
I just don't understand.
Okay, brings us down to the operating budget. Frankie, are you there? Wait.
Number
Yeah. Overall capital.
Yeah, we just
You voted on the amendment.
Okay.
To change the, now we need to do the whole thing.
Keith had the motion.
You have a motion in a second, you just need to vote on the mod as amended now.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on the mod as amended. All those in favor? Aye. Sorry, more
I'd like for
discussion?
Jody to go over the budget mods for us.
You need to get a
Okay,
motion
Harley,
to
you know we're still
open
on
up
the
discussion.
capital.
Yeah, I want to go. No, I'm on this month. Well, no worries taking the money.
operating.
No worries putting it to.
I don't think you have a motion on the operating yet, so.
Yeah, we're still on the capital. We have to go
Oh,
back to
okay,
the
I'm sorry.
original capital mod. So,
Okay.
all those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposition on the capital mod? Okay, so now let's go down to, Harley, why don't you go ahead and introduce that?
Okay. Make a motion to approve Legislative Act 26-17.
Second.
Mod
Got a motion
11.
and a second, and now we'll
Mod
have our
11.
accountant go over it with us.
There's 9 budgets. Item 1's a Terrell Job Training Program, and they're revising that budget to decrease it by $300,000 based upon the other income coming in. The new total of that budget is $1 million. Item 2's a Contract Health Support Sponsorship Program. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $44,000. This is the budget that pays for insurance premiums to help with contract support costs for tribal citizens with high medical claims. Funding is provided by increased third-party collections coming in for that. The new expenditure totals $194,000. Item 3, this would be where the change would need to be made to do the Salina operating budget instead of the health maintenance and improvement projects. That'll be the $22,688 coming in, so you'll need to do a modification amendment.
Make a motion to amend to what Jody just stated.
Items 4 through 9 are the revisions to the NAHASDA budgets based upon the revised IHP that you guys approved earlier for 2018. So most of all these are increases.
Okay,
Why
so
don't you go ahead and read those off?
Okay. Item 4 is operating subsidy. It's an increase in expenditure authorization of $460,000 to reflect actual grant funds. The total is $3,455,577. Item 5, replacement homes. It's modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $110,000. The new total is $1,113,518. Item 6, housing rehab. Increase in expenditure authorization of $693,500. The new total is $6,388,091. Item 7, transitional emergency housing. Increase in expenditure authorization of $252,132. The new total is $1,300,584. Item 8, housing management. Increase in expenditure authorization of $100,000. The new expenditure total is $3,110,701. Item 9, environmental reviews. Increase in expenditure authorization of $86,500 with a new total of $699,396.
Madam Chair, and the reason I asked Jody to do this, because I think not only us need to know that, but our audience and the people out in the Cherokee Nation needs to know where these monies are going. This is a lot of money, and Jody, you do a good job on making those reports, and it makes me easier to understand when you read them, where those are either going or coming from, so I appreciate you doing it. Jody puts a lot of work in this, and I think it's well worth our time to listen to where Jody and the accounting department is putting these funds. And I don't do that to make Jody read it, but I think it's just good information out there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I have a question.
yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Hey, Jody, on the NAHASDA, where are those funds coming from that are adding to the NAHASDA account? Are those NAHASDA
That's the
dollars?
NAHASDA grant funds, yes.
Is that transferring from last year to this year, or?
It's adjusting to the actual funding that we had because it was based upon an estimate to start with.
The 19 budget.
Yeah, well, it's the 18.
The 18 budget?
Yeah,
Got
the 18 budget that, it was an estimate to begin with. Now that we have the actual funding amounts.
I Thank you, Joe.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, Dick, that was a friendly amendment
Yes.
to just bring that in line with what we did previously. Okay, so let's vote on the budget mod. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, motion carries. Brings us down to item number 4, which is a discussion that was cut short in our last meeting. And Counselor, we are discussing this document that was handed out in our May meeting. So we're kind of cleaning some stuff up. Counselor Austin, did you have some questions regarding that? It was handed out to everyone at the end of our May 31 meeting.
Yes. Counselor Walking Stick on May 31st during the Rules Committee meeting, a 21-page document was circulated by Counselor, by you.
Oh, yes. Counselor Crittenden?
I've never seen this done, I don't think, in my 3 years of kind of putting a fellow council member questions directed at them. Never seen that done. Has everybody else?
He's the only one with the information as to where this document came from. He presented it as backup facts for a
Resolution that failed, or legislation that failed, right? Okay, continue.
This document was circulated by Counselor Walking Stick in support of an act identified as item 18-038. Earlier the same day at 8:44 a.m., I received the same document electronically from email address walkingstick80@gmail.com. And would you mind sharing where, when, and how the document first came into your possession?
Are you directing that question towards me, Council?
Yes.
Well, to begin with, an employee had given this to me, and due to this administration cultivating a spirit of fear within our employees, I'm not going to jeopardize a employee's position to serve your political agenda. And with saying that, this is a confidential document, and it's going to remain a confidential document.
Well, I understand that your introduction of it without being confidential in your introduction meant that it was no longer confidential. So the document that you handed out had the notations already on it. Was it that way when you received it?
Counselor, again, I'm not going to jeopardize an employee's position due to your political agenda.
I was not asking if that employee put those, I was asking
Point of order.
If that was already on
there.
there.
Point of order. I would like, this is done past. Fellow council member. There was folks who didn't want to discuss other things that want to discuss this. This is done. I would like to make a motion to table this indefinitely.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, and I don't know that we make a motion on discussion only items. Is Talina here?
I'm not sure that it addresses legislation specifically, but anything on the agenda can be tabled, passed. You can make motions on agenda items. So I would say that that's fine.
Okay. So we will vote on whether to table this indefinitely. It is my understanding, well, we need to vote. Okay, all those in favor of tabling indefinitely, a yes vote means you want to table it indefinitely. A no vote means you want to discuss it. So all those in favor of tabling indefinitely, vote now.
Yes.
Yes.
All those who want to discuss it, vote now.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and do roll call, Shelley.
Tom Crittenden?
I want to table indefinitely.
So yes.
Yes.
Mike Dobbins?
Yes.
Frankie Hargis?
I'm going to abstain.
Wanda Hatfield?
Abstain.
Rex Jordan?
No.
Dick Lay?
I'm pretty close to this situation. I'm going to abstain.
Mike Shambaugh?
Yes.
Mary Bakershaw?
Yes.
E.O. Smith?
No.
Denise Taylor?
No.
Victoria Vesquez?
No.
David Walkingstick?
Yes.
Brian Warner?
Yes.
Bill England?
Yes.
Keith Austin?
No.
Harley Buzzard?
Yes.
Joe Bird?
Yes.
Nine yes, 5 no, and 3 abstentions. It definitely is majority, correct?
Mhm.
It fails. Motion fails. And if it's a majority vote, then it fails. If taken definitely majority vote, correct? Yeah, then it fails. I mean, it passes. 953, it passes, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Definitely.
So that brings us down to announcements. And if there's no announcements, that brings us down to adjournment.
Motion to adjourn. Second.